Friday Night Smackdown on Fox, May 22nd, 2020. Was the show as bad as it is every other week? No, it was an adequate show. I think that's the word of the day. That's the word to use to sum up this show. Okay, it wasn't as just painful and as sleep-inducing as most episodes, which that's good. But at the same time, with the card coming into the show, they really couldn't have produced like an absolutely horrible, terrible show. Obviously, Styles Nakamura, you had Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus, you had the mixed tag team match, Otis and Mandy Rose versus Ziggler and Deville, and you also had Charlotte Flair versus Bayley in a champion versus champion match. So the card on paper was pretty good. People were calling the show loaded, stacked. I don't really agree. I really, really don't. So that's what there was on paper. The show itself, it was fine. I mean, got into an argument on Twitter over what you're seeing on screen. Now, first off, before I even get into Strowman and the Universal title and whatnot, them calling Backlash the tagline for the pay-per-view, the greatest wrestling match ever, makes absolutely no sense. Okay, WWE, Michael Cole, Corey Graves, they were sure to inform us of this greatest wrestling match ever tagline about 400 times during the show. They were shoving that down your throat to a point where it was nauseating. So, just so you guys know, it's the greatest wrestling match ever. The Backlash pay-per-view is the greatest wrestling match ever. Yeah, because that makes sense, doesn't it? Oh my god, this company. But anyways, yeah, Backlash is the greatest wrestling match ever. Yeah, I guess I'll just get into this review pretty much. So, you open the show with this, which... No, well, not this match, obviously. This is what they're doing at Backlash. But basically, it was the dirt sheet with our white trash, redneck, hick Universal Champion, Braun Strowman. So, Miz and Morrison, they come out, and they're talking a bit of trash about Braun. As you'd expect, I mean, they're the heels, so... Basically, they talk about how Braun Strowman got in their business a week ago. Then they mock Strowman for being replaced by the puppets in the Wyatt family, which, I mean, that bit was good. I enjoyed the puppets part of the segment. Then they talk about taking exception to Braun Strowman receiving the Universal title match against Goldberg at WrestleMania 36 without earning it. Very valid point. That's something I've brought up myself numerous times, so I like that bit. Then Braun Strowman, our, once again, white trash, redneck, hick Universal Champion, interrupted the proceedings, as Bleacher Report says, and after some back and forth, during which Miz warned the Monster Among Men that Bray Wyatt is not finished with him, which this is what kind of created a bit of a little mini drama on wrestling Twitter. So I started watching the show 90 minutes in, and I tweeted, Braun Strowman versus Miz and Morrison in a handicap match at Backlash. I put like 8 crying emojis, and then I was like, are you kidding me? Like, where's Bray Wyatt? So that prompted about 5 different people to reply, oh, well, long-term storytelling, man. Long-term storytelling. To which I respond, okay, long-term storytelling. Let's use that in the context of Smackdown, the Universal title, Bray Wyatt. Let's use that. So, where was the long-term storytelling in having Goldberg squash the Fiend Bray Wyatt in Saudi Arabia? Where was the long-term storytelling there? When they changed their mind momentarily, split-second decision, literally probably the day of the Saudi Arabia Super Showdown show, to have Goldberg beat The Fiend. Where was the long-term storytelling there? Where's the long-term storytelling in a company where they operate based on what Vince McMahon's feeling momentarily? Vince changes his mind in a heartbeat, and all of a sudden, the whole show is completely different. There is no long-term storytelling. This company books week to week. Do you think they have a clue what the SummerSlam card is? And if they do have a clue what the card is, it's probably Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre. Probably God knows what this company is planning. Okay, this company and long-term storytelling don't compute. There's no correlation. If this company believed in long-term storytelling, these shows would be nowhere near as bad as they are. The whole problem is that there's no continuity, there's no life, there's no effort put into the week-to-week storytelling to build long-term stories. If this company, and especially Smackdown, proved to me and showed me as a viewer that they believed in long-term storytelling, I'd be right behind them. I'd be like, yes, Braun Strowman is going to lose the title to The Fiend. But no. Instead, we're getting Braun Strowman versus Miz and Morrison in a handicap match, which, is there any point that even happening? I mean, that match screams Smackdown. That doesn't scream pay-per-view. So that's the match we're getting instead. Then we got Braun Strowman versus The Miz. I mean, this was everything you'd expect. Just Braun Strowman punching The Miz and then getting a win. So, I mean, that's what we got there. That didn't really accomplish much, the Braun Strowman and The Miz stuff. So then we got what you see on screen, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura in their Intercontinental Championship tournament match. This, pretty good match, you know? This was what you'd expect from it. These two guys had a fun match. I saw someone on Twitter say that, oh, well, they should have been given 35 minutes and had a true classic. Okay, look, this is SmackDown on Fox. They weren't going to do that, but for the time they got, I was entertained by the match. Nothing bad to say about the match. I thought it was good, it was entertaining, and it was something that, just like Bryan and Gulak last week, it entertained me. And also, one thing that made no sense is that apparently AJ Styles has now been traded to SmackDown. I guess, based off what? I traded for who? Where's the context to this? Why was he on Raw in the first place? Like, explain this to me, WWE. Once again, if they have any long-term storytelling, long-term thoughts, this wouldn't be an issue. But they just say that out of nowhere, and it's just completely off the cuff. So anyway, AJ Styles is on SmackDown, and he advances in the tournament to try and save ratings on SmackDown and lose to Bryan in the final. So that's what we got there. Then, actually, well, first off, I just want to say, also, one other thing about that match, Michael Cole calling Shinsuke Nakamura Shin. I mean, I'm not going to fake offense and act like I'm offended and that's like a racial term. I don't view it as that. I just find it kind of corny and hard to listen to, as Michael Cole just says, oh, no, I need a shin. But yeah, anyway, so, I mean, that's that. Then we get this announcement, I mean, you saw earlier, Nia Jax versus Natalya versus Charlotte in a triple threat number one contenders match for the Raw Women's Championship. Okay, look, I'm happy they're doing a contenders match, at least. It's better than just announcing that Nia Jax is facing Asuka, but let's use some logic. Charlotte Flair, are they going to build a storyline where she's trying to become Charlotte Two Belts? Are you going to do that? Or, I mean, like, what's the go with Natalya there? Natalya's lost to Shayna Baszler back-to-back weeks. So why is Natalya there? Here's what I do as the elitist. What I'd do, I'd have Shayna Baszler versus Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax in a number one contenders match, because they're the two women who make the most sense. What I do, earlier on the show, on Monday Night's Raw, I have Nia Jax just destroy Shayna Baszler, beat her up, so Shayna Baszler's irate, Shayna Baszler's pissed, and then Shayna Baszler gets herself disqualified by bashing Nia Jax to the chair. That's what I do, so that then both women stay fairly strong looking, Shayna Baszler furthers her character, Nia Jax gets a match with Asuka. That makes sense. But instead, Natalya's there for some reason. You've got Charlotte just in the match because God knows why. So that's what we've got to look forward to on Raw. Personally, it's going to be my bathroom break. But then again, I won't be watching Raw live, so it doesn't really bother me. So that's what we got there. Then Charlotte versus Bayley. Another good match. You know, this is the thing on SmackDown. The matches were good, which that's all I can hope for from this show. The match was good, and that was basically all there is to comment. So we saw Sasha watching backstage. Charlotte, eventually, they went for the roll-up of death finish, which I'm fine with. It's to be expected. A roll-up of death, you know, is what it is. So that's what we got in that match. Bayley beats Charlotte through a roll-up of death. That's all cool, really. So, yeah, Charlotte, you know, she's on all three brands. She's the big show of 2006 when he was on ECW, Raw, and SmackDown, and that's really about it. So from there, we get our mixed tag match, Mandy Rose and Dolph Ziggler versus Otis and Mandy Rose and Otis versus Ziggler and Sonya Deville. There we go. So this match, it was fine. You know, it was an alright mixed tag match. Basically, I'll just cut to the chase of the finish. Essentially, they had Sonya Deville hit like a big knee to Mandy Rose, and she got the win. So Sonya pinned Mandy. They're making Sonya Deville look really strong. That's ideal because I think Sonya Deville is a heel challenging whoever wins the SmackDown Women's title. I guess down the line you could do something like Sonya Deville, Lacey Evans. I don't know. The SmackDown Women's division is really bad. So, I mean, that was what we got there. Then, I mean, they went to a Jeff Hardy promo backstage, which you're seeing on screen. He basically looked like Nemo with the face paint. It was a decent little promo. Then we got a Forgotten Sons thing, or I believe it was Steve Cutler, cut a little promo, which Cutler had no mic skills or like promo ability, but it was what it was. I like how they're trying to further the Forgotten Sons, give them some story, so that was decent. And then we proceeded to get literally, recap about the Miz and Morrison vs. Strowman thing, which I went over earlier. Then we got a video package for Sheamus vs. Jeff Hardy, and then we did Sheamus vs. Jeff Hardy in the main event. Basically, I mean, this was what you'd expect it to be. Sheamus basically beating up Jeff Hardy for like 8 minutes, as Michael Cole's calling this personal, and then Jeff Hardy rolls him up to advance in the tournament. That was literally what we got, and I mean, as far as the tournament goes, like, I guess you weren't going to have Jeff Hardy lose in the first round. I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, so it's Jeff Hardy versus Daniel Bryan. Is it next week? Hardy versus Bryan. And obviously, yeah, a babyface is going to emerge from that match to face AJ Styles, because Styles is facing Elias. So, They've just done this bracket all wrong. The bracket, it's two heels fighting and then two faces fighting. Wouldn't you want to have a bit of intrigue? It's basically just whoever wins Jeff Hardy and Daniel Bryan is winning the tournament. And if that's not the case, then I don't know what they'll do. So that's SmackDown, May 22nd, 2020. Double or Nothing's tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. SmackDown itself, really, outside of me getting into an argument with some people on Twitter about long-term booking, that was really, all there was tonight. Yeah, like, comment, sub. You guys know the drill. See ya.